It shall be dedicated 2026.
In recent days, social media has been buzzing with heated discussions surrounding Bishop David Oyedepo, the founder of Living Faith Church Worldwide, also known as Winners Chapel.
This is a message to Pastor Oyedepo.
The focus of the debate is the Ark Project, a 100,000-seater auditorium under construction in Canaanland, OTA, Nigeria, one of the most ambitious church projects in Africa. The controversy erupted after a viral video from a popular social media critic known as Auntie Adunni, who accused Bishop Widapo of misleading his church members regarding the funding and progress of the Ark Project.
This is a message to Pastor Oyedepo. Like I said in the last video, when he announced that he was going to build 100,000 seating capacity church. Pastor Oyedepo, I hope this video gets to you, and I hope you reason with this video. Few years ago, you said God asked you to build 100,000 seating capacity church, and God gave you a deadline to finish the church.
As the Lord lives, Shiloh 2025 shall be held in the ark.
This church is yet to be completed as of today. That particular church will have been better as an industry. I remember a young man came out kneeling down. The video went viral. The guy was begging you. He said, please, Daddy, don't build another church. You have a very huge one already in Ota, with large followership all over the world. He said, instead, please help us to build industry where the youth can get positively productive and engaged. But you went on to build the same ark, and you are yet to complete it. Your God has changed the date 3 times now.
But I had the word come to me saying, don't sacrifice excellence for time. Our technical partners will require some more time than earlier estimated. There will be a review of the date. You'll be informed later.
Is yet to still complete the church, because it is not God that is building it, it is human being. Dollar has skyrocketed, seriously. Building material is no more the same thing. Expatriates are the one building the church. Your financial capacity, you don't want to spend your money. People are not giving as they used to anymore. That is why the church is yet to be completed.
Her claims ignited widespread conversation, both among supporters of the ministry and skeptics of megachurch practices. In the midst of this media storm, Bishop Widapo finally made a public announcement, revealing a new and definitive date for the dedication of the Ark, the year 2026.
It shall be dedicated 2026. In Grand Style, the Ark Legacy Project. A raw testament of the move of God on the earth today. Raw testament. Raw testament. Without a human hand, sir. Marush Kanabalo Tapolianeso. Without a human hand. Without no private consultation with anybody. Without taking an offering in church.
This revelation has set the stage for renewed discussions about faith, finances, and the responsibility of spiritual leaders in handling large-scale church projects. As opinions continue to divide the online space, this episode aims to explore the story in depth, separating facts from assumptions and faith from speculation. Beyond the controversy, this is a moment to examine how vision, divine timing, and public perception collide in one of the most talked-about church projects of the decade. Background of the Ark Project. To understand the heart of the debate, we must go back to the vision behind the Ark Project. The Ark is not just another church building. It is designed to be a monumental place of worship, seating over 100,000 people at once, with state-of-the-art facilities, global media centers, and prayer halls. It stands as the successor to the Faith Tabernacle, which was dedicated in 1999 and once held the Guinness World Record as the largest church auditorium in the world. When construction began, Bishop Widapo described the Ark as a sanctuary built by God himself, emphasizing that it was not a product of human ambition but divine instruction. According to him, the inspiration came through a revelation, a mandate to build a house of worship that would serve as a global hub for revival and prayer in the end times. The Ark symbolizes more than concrete and steel, it represents faith in motion. Every stage of construction, from the foundation to the towering structure that now dominates Canaanland, has been showcased as evidence of divine provision. The project was expected to move swiftly, given the efficiency that characterized previous living faith construction milestones. However, as time passed and global economic realities shifted, with inflation, exchange rate crises, and construction delays, the completion timeline extended. The newly announced 2026 dedication date now stands as both a prophetic milestone and a public commitment from the ministry, reaffirming its belief that God's time is always the best time. The controversy, Auntie Adunni's criticism. But while many see the Ark as a symbol of faith, not everyone agrees. The storm began when social commentator Auntie Adunni released a video accusing Bishop Widapo of deceiving his followers about the true nature of the Ark Project's funding. She alleged that the project's delay had little to do with divine timing and everything to do with money, or, as she put it, the lack of it. In her words, the dedication was postponed not because of spiritual instruction, but because of the rising cost of materials and the depreciation of the naira against the dollar. She further claimed that Bishop Widapo doesn't want to spend his own money, and that the burden of funding had been placed on the members of the church, many of whom she described as financially strained. Auntie Adunni didn't stop there. She went on to question the authenticity of Widapo's claim that God is building the Ark, arguing that it is, in reality, the members' money building it. Her statements quickly went viral, gaining thousands of shares, reactions, and comments across platforms like X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. While her tone was confrontational, her criticism resonated with a segment of the public who have long questioned how megachurches handle finances and transparency. Others, however, viewed her comments as disrespectful, claiming she was attacking a man of proven integrity and faith. In the days that followed, the online conversation intensified. Supporters of Bishop Widapo pointed to decades of successful ministry projects completed debt-free, including Covenant University and Landmark University, as proof that he operates under divine direction and financial discipline. On the other hand, critics demanded more accountability and openness from the church leadership. At the heart of this controversy lies a deeper question, one that challenges both believers and skeptics alike. Can faith-based megaprojects like the Ark truly be sustained purely by divine provision, or are they dependent on the sacrifices and pockets of ordinary church members? It is this very tension, between faith and finance, between divine vision and human scrutiny, that continues to drive the conversation around the Ark Project today. Bishop Widapo's response. When the online debates and accusations reached their peak, many expected Bishop David Oyedepo to either ignore the chatter or issue a formal press statement. Instead, his response came subtly yet powerfully during one of the Sunday services at Canaanland. Standing before thousands of worshippers and millions watching online, Bishop Widapo addressed the issue with his characteristic composure and conviction. In his words, "The Ark Project is God's project, not man's. No human being can build for God except he commands and provides for it. The same God who began it will complete it in grand style." With that declaration, he reaffirmed a principle he has upheld for over 4 decades, that anything God commissions, he also finances. He went on to clarify that the Ark is not being built by church offerings or by human fundraising schemes, but by divine direction and supernatural supply. According to him, every project under the Living Faith Commission has followed this same pattern, from the Faith Tabernacle to Covenant University and Landmark University, none of which were ever dedicated until God declared them ready. Bishop Widapo's announcement of 2026 as the new date for the Ark's dedication was not presented as a delay, but as divine timing. He explained that God's work cannot be rushed or adjusted to fit public opinion. To him, the date signifies spiritual alignment rather than financial limitation. He reminded his audience of his long-standing principle, faith never fails when God is the builder. This statement reflects the foundation of his ministry, that God's projects are never dependent on the economy, donors, or exchange rates, but on divine provision. His calm and firm tone during the announcement restored confidence among members, who cheered and celebrated what he described as the unfolding of prophecy. This response wasn't just about addressing critics, it was a reaffirmation of faith. It was a public declaration that in the economy of God, projects are completed not by might or money, but by obedience and belief. Public reactions and social media debate. Following Bishop Widapo's clarification, the internet once again came alive. The reactions were as diverse as the Nigerian religious landscape itself. On one side, defenders of the faith hailed Widapo's bold declaration as a testament to unwavering belief. On the other, critics insisted that his statements failed to address the core issue of transparency and accountability. Supporters pointed to Living Faith Church's long record of massive projects completed without loans or public fundraising. Many referenced how the Faith Tabernacle, the 50,000-seater auditorium completed in just 12 months, was also built debt-free. They argued that Widapo's credibility over the years speaks for itself and that questioning his financial integrity is unnecessary. One church member commented online, "Papa has never begged, borrowed, or manipulated anyone to give. Everything he does is by faith. If he says God is building the ark, then God truly is." However, others saw things differently. Critics argued that while faith is essential, transparency is equally important, especially in projects that rely on the contributions of millions of members. Some questioned whether a 2026 dedication date was truly a matter of divine timing or a reflection of economic realities that have slowed construction across the country. A few social commentators, like Auntie Adunni, continued to press the question, if God is building the ark, why are members giving? Their argument centered not on the existence of faith, but on the lack of clear financial disclosure. The debate soon became symbolic of a larger issue, the tension between spiritual conviction and public scrutiny. In an era where church leaders are more visible and social media amplifies every controversy, megachurches now face the challenge of balancing faith declarations with practical accountability. For many observers, this debate wasn't just about the Ark Project. It represented a growing generational divide in how Christians perceive faith-based leadership. Older believers uphold the just believe mindset, while younger Christians, shaped by digital awareness, are asking for openness and documentation. In the end, the online discussion revealed more than opinions. It exposed the evolving relationship between the Nigerian church, the media, and the modern believer. Faith versus finances, the bigger question. At the core of this entire controversy lies a profound question that transcends personalities. Are massive church projects like the Ark purely acts of faith, or should they be open to financial explanation? This question isn't new, but it resurfaces every time faith and money intersect in public ministry. For Bishop Widapo and the Living Faith Commission, the answer has always been consistent. Faith is the foundation of all divine projects. The ministry teaches that God's work is not sustained by human effort but by divine grace. Through principles of kingdom prosperity, members are taught that sowing seeds, giving offerings, and walking in obedience open doors for supernatural supply. According to this doctrine, the Ark Project isn't a fundraising campaign but a faith-building journey, a visible demonstration of divine partnership. In Widapo's words, if it's God's will, then it's God's bill. That statement encapsulates a faith culture that relies on belief more than budgets. However, critics argue that faith and financial accountability should not be mutually exclusive. They contend that believers have the right to know how their contributions are used, especially when projects involve vast resources. From their perspective, spirituality does not exempt leaders from transparency, it should enhance it. This tension reflects two parallel realities within Christianity today. One side views church projects as supernatural ventures that cannot be measured by human systems. The other insists that faith-based institutions must still operate within the boundaries of clarity and openness. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. Faith without accountability can invite suspicion, while accountability without faith can quench divine inspiration. Both must coexist if the church is to maintain credibility before both believers and the watching world. Ultimately, this discussion is not about the Ark alone. It is about what it represents, the visible intersection of faith, leadership, and trust. It calls every believer to reflect on what true faith means, believing in God's ability to provide while also stewarding his resources with integrity. The Ark Project, regardless of its critics or supporters, continues to stand as a symbol of unwavering belief in divine provision. Whether the world understands it or not, its completion in 2026 may serve as a defining moment, not just for Winners Chapel, but for how the modern church interprets the balance between faith and finances in an age of scrutiny and skepticism. The 2026 dedication, a symbol of faith. The announcement of 2026 as the new dedication year for the Ark Project is far more than a date on the church calendar. It carries deep prophetic and spiritual symbolism. To many within the Living Faith community, this is not merely about completing a structure. It is the culmination of decades of prophetic obedience and unwavering faith. The Ark stands as a continuation of the divine vision that birthed the Faith Tabernacle in 1999, a structure that shocked the world by being completed within a single year, debt-free. The Ark, however, is more than twice the size, equipped with cutting-edge technology, modern infrastructure, and a divine purpose that transcends aesthetics. According to Bishop Widapo, it will serve as a house of refuge, revelation, and glory. The 2026 dedication is expected to draw global attention, with international delegates, church leaders, and believers from over 170 nations set to attend. Just as Shiloh has become a worldwide spiritual gathering for millions each December, the dedication of the Ark will likely stand as one of the most significant Christian events in modern history. Beyond the grandeur of the event lies a deeper message: faith that endures time. The delay, seen by some as a setback, is being reframed as divine orchestration. Bishop Widapo has emphasized that God is never late. His time is always perfect. To him, the timing of 2026 is not human scheduling, but divine alignment, a year marked by fulfillment and prophetic manifestation. The Ark has already become a teaching point for many believers around the world, illustrating how patience, persistence, and prophetic focus can turn visions into reality. Churches across Africa and beyond continue to reference the Ark as proof that faith, when rooted in obedience, can produce excellence without compromise. Ultimately, the 2026 dedication will not only mark the completion of a building but the realization of a global spiritual symbol, a testimony that when God speaks, time itself bends to fulfill His word. Lessons and reflection. The Ark controversy, like many surrounding major faith projects, holds profound lessons for both believers and observers. First, it reminds us that divine visions often face human criticism. Throughout history, every great move of God has been misunderstood in its early stages. Noah was mocked for building an ark when rain had never fallen. Abraham was questioned when he left his homeland without a destination. In the same way, faith projects in our time may appear unreasonable until they are completed. Believers are encouraged to approach such controversies with discernment, not emotion. It is easy to take sides based on headlines or viral opinions, but wisdom calls for balance. Not every criticism deserves attention, and not every vision is false simply because it defies logic. True discernment involves comparing every claim and action with the Word of God, not with social sentiment. At the same time, this moment calls for reflection within the church. Faith does not eliminate the need for transparency. Just as believers must trust God, leaders must also demonstrate accountability. The modern church operates in a world of public scrutiny, and openness builds credibility. Faith and responsibility must walk together. One without the other weakens the message of the gospel. Ultimately, the focus of believers should remain personal. While discussions unfold online, the greater question is, what am I building with my own faith? The Ark reminds us that divine visions require endurance, not debate. As the story unfolds, one thing remains clear: the Ark Project has become more than an architectural endeavor. It has become a mirror reflecting the power, patience, and principles of faith. From Auntie Adunni's viral accusations to Bishop Widapo's unwavering response, the narrative has evolved into a profound discussion about the nature of divine provision and human perception. In the end, Bishop Widapo's announcement of a 2026 dedication is not merely a response to critics but a reaffirmation of confidence in God's ability to complete what He begins. His declaration that the Ark is God's project, not man's, echoes a faith that refuses to bow to pressure or public opinion. The controversy has, ironically, amplified the message it sought to question, that true faith remains unshaken in the face of criticism. Whether one views the Ark as a religious marvel or a test of stewardship, its significance in Christian history is undeniable. The Ark Project stands as a monument of belief, perseverance, and vision, a living testimony that when God speaks, delay does not mean denial. The foundation of faith, once laid, can withstand any storm of skepticism. As the church looks ahead to 2026, one truth rings loud and clear: when God builds, storms may rise, but the foundation stands sure.